All right, so Trump's proposed Board of Peace is under fire tonight after reports allege there may be a price tag attached to permanent membership on that board. According to reporting from Bloomberg, who reviewed a copy of a draft charter, Trump is proposing that member states be limited to 3-year terms on the Board of Peace unless they pay $1 billion to join as permanent members. Trump would also serve as chairman and be tasked with controlling the money himself. Now, the White House responded to the reporting, writing on X, quote, "This is misleading. There is no minimum membership fee to join the Board of Peace. This simply offers permanent membership to partner countries who demonstrate deep commitment to peace, security, and prosperity." I'm having a hard time reading that with a straight face. First of all, because it's like $1 billion seems like very Austin Powers to kind of like sit there and be like,
my country club, join my country club for $1 billion.
Also, like, there's just so many questions. I know we shouldn't be laughing about it because like people are still suffering and people are dying, but it kind of shows you where President Trump's head is, that he is trying to basically extract $1 billion from all of these countries to manage himself without really articulating what it is that the Board of Peace is supposed to be doing. But more problematic is who's actually on the board and what they're going to be doing, and why do they get to decide and determine the fate of 2 million Palestinians besieged in the Gaza Strip. And obviously, we're all very, short on answers.
So I feel like every update that we get from Gaza, and every time I learn from your reporting in particular, Ayman, we hear about groups, organizations, administrations that have grand plans for Gazans, but we never hear that actual Palestinians are at the table.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Is that changing at all?
It is not changing. Look, there's a dynamic that is unfolding here that is, it's very important that you touched upon. On one hand, humanitarian organizations like Doctors Without Borders, who we talked to, are being squeezed out of doing any work on the ground in Gaza. It seems that Donald Trump wants to monopolize and control who gets to have a say in what and how the reconstruction of Gaza looks like. And we know, based on previous reporting from the Washington Post and else, that him and Jared Kushner, who has publicly stated it's amazing beachfront property, these buildings should be high-rise condos, and Donald Trump infamously tweeted out an AI-generated video one time of him on the beach and casinos and resorts and hotels. And that's the vision they have for Gaza, but it doesn't pay any respect whatsoever to the Palestinians to give them self-determination, to give them control over how they want to be governed.
Well, it seems like Trump is focusing on this as one of his developments and has totally disregarded the human development part of it that is actually what needs to be the focus to get people in Gaza their lives back again. And you look at how he's going about this, and so many different countries are being reported piecemeal in the press, like, oh, we were asked to join, we were given this offer. Canada said that they will join but not pay $1 billion, and the details were vague. Argentina, the President Milei on Twitter said that they are joining, but how are they going to pay $1 billion? I want to ask, when we've given them, I believe, a $19 billion bailout or something to that effect. So it just doesn't make much sense, and it isn't focused on actually the mission of humanitarian orgs that should be at the table. They are being completely disregarded.
But it is a money-making scheme, right? To your point, it's a money-making scheme, which is how Trump views basically all foreign policy endeavors, not just here, but, we went into Venezuela to take the oil, and now we have these offshore accounts, apparently in Qatar, where we are, socking away the proceeds of that. You've also got, the Trump Organization's Gulf push with $10 billion in Saudi projects there. You've got, the UAE chips deal that resulted in the Trump team getting pretty rich off of crypto. So all of these endeavors are just transactional, and there's a price tag attached, but not a lot of other values or objectives.
I can't emphasize this enough, and I think you're right about it, that when you look at the history of Gaza, which has gone through a lot of wars, I should say, over the last 15, 20 years, there has never been shortage of donor money that wants to come and try to help Gaza, right? Whether it's from the Gulf or the Europeans, people understand that this is a humanitarian situation, a political situation. They want to try to help the people there. And I think that he has probably been told, look, people have spent billions of dollars doing this before, and immediately, the dollar signs have gone up, and he doesn't particularly care about the humanitarian situation and is ultimately just obsessed with how to capitalize on Gaza being something he can make money off of.